welcome back to another episode of Baseball and the Bible. I'm Riker Dotson, and I'm here with my dad, Ryan Dotson.
All right.
All right.
All right. We're back. We're back. Having a good time.
You're stealing all of them.
I was stealing all the lines. We're back. Good to see you guys, or, good to be seen by you guys, and ready to get after this one. And
Excited.
got a few topics to jump into, and gonna have some fun, right? So
Let's do it.
welcome back. Thanks for being here. And we'll kick it off with just a little recap, right?
All
Last
right.
episode, we talked about new
World
organization. We talked about new team.
World
Yep.
Baseball
We
Classic.
talked about World Baseball Classic. We got into our Samuel talk, but we started off by talking about just our
Weekend.
our weekend, and how we were getting ready to go to Houston with our new team. So we're 2 tournaments in. What's our recap? Our feeling from our baseball team and our performance at the Perfect Game 1000.
I feel like I feel like as a team, we're this close. Like, the only thing that we really need to improve on is our chemistry and really just soaking in what coach is saying. I feel like that's the only thing we really need to work on, stopping us from getting to the next level.
Okay.
Other than that, I think we're looking pretty promising. I'm just enjoying this new organization entirely. So
It's been good. Again, 2 tournaments in, good team. We talked about it last episode, great guys, and coaching is great, and all that. And I do think, as I said last episode, I think there's a high ceiling for you guys, but it definitely is not being hit yet. I mean, the first tournament was not what we wanted, and just total transparency in this, it wasn't what we wanted in the Perfect Game 1000. But I do agree with you that we're close. Chemistry, new, maybe some new players there, new dynamics. One of the things coach is talking about heavy with you guys is that he's just taking the training wheels off, right?
yes.
Again, it's common when you're first playing 8, 9, 10 years old. We've talked about this even with the parenting episode. You've got parents shouting out stuff,
Yeah.
but you always have coaches that are telling you what to do with the baseball once it's hit to you. And this year, those coaches decided to take those training wheels off, stop holding your hand, which I think is a great thing. But there's learning that comes with that. There's growing pains that come with that. And I think that's what we're experiencing right now. Just some of the, obviously, there's a lot of talent on our team, but it's just increasing our baseball IQ.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
And that's something you've got to work on, right?
I'm guilty, yeah.
Yeah. So not depending on your coach or your parent or anybody else to tell you what to do with the baseball. You're thinking about it before the ball's hit. You know what to do. You know not only what you should do with the baseball, but you also need to learn what other positions need to do with the baseball, just so you can be very, be like a coach on the field kind of thing.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's where we're at right now. So it didn't go well in the Perfect Game 1000.
Yeah, if you didn't catch on to that by now.
Yeah, not like we wanted it to. But it was a good trip, just me and you. Went on the trip, so
4 hour.
Yeah, 4-hour journey, and but some good male bonding time and good bonding time with the team, and so all it was a good trip. Just not the results that we wanted, but really believe that it's coming for this team. So hopefully we'll be telling you guys about that sooner rather than later. We're scheduled to play this weekend, but
might be canceled.
It's raining like crazy currently in Dallas area, and it's supposed to rain throughout the weekend and even into next week. So not looking promising that we'll play this weekend, but
if we are, let's go whoop some butt.
If we are, let's do it. But so that's where we're at. So not what we wanted there, but a good trip. And then we debated whether we were going to talk about this part of it or not.
But I think we do.
But we're going to talk about it because it happened, and it was a part of the
whole experience.
The whole experience. And so we'll be quick about it. We're not bragging about it, but it happened, and it's real life. And it was a learning moment for you, a growing moment for you. And so do you want to, as efficiently and quickly and succinctly as you can tell the story, just tell the story?
The day was not okay. No. No. So after, I think it was Saturday, yeah?
Yep. After playing both games Saturday.
After playing both games, the team decided we'll go to this quick little place in Houston. I've gone there a couple times. It's called the Dugout.
Home Run Dugout. Yeah.
Home Run Dugout. It's a really fun place. But the way that it works, there's a little turf field where kids can play like wiffle ball, and it's so hectic. Dad was saying, like, I'm surprised people don't have daily fights here. But anyway, so what happened was a bunch of 15-year-old kids getting all high and mighty. They were, this is my perspective of it, but they were being really annoying. They kept taking the wiffle ball away, like they were acting like they owned the joint, and that didn't rub right with me because I could tell the only reason they were doing it is because we're younger, so they think they don't have, they think that they are above us because they're older.
Yeah, it's normal.
It's normal, but the way they were doing it was a little irritating. But anyway, they keep calling me names, pegging me with the wiffle balls. That's what really set me off. And eventually, I look at the kid, and my dad, I had been telling my dad, they're pestering me. They're annoying me. And I just said the word pestered. But anyway, they had been annoying me. And so my dad had already known, which I'm glad I told him. That way my background check was there. But I told him beforehand, and it got to the point where I was like, dude, you want to do this, we can fight. Like, that was not exactly what I said, but that sounds cooler, what I just said. So we'll go with that. But I was like, you want to keep doing this, I will fight you. And he was acting like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. And I got so mad. I started chasing him around this little like cornhole part for a decent 30 seconds, and he turns around to make fun of me again. And I took full advantage, and I just smack him across the face. So I got in my first fist fight. That happened.
It did happen. Again, for those watching, we're not promoting fighting.
No, but I was defending myself.
Well, you threw the first punch, but you were defending yourself in the fact that they had been picking on you and messing with you. And one part of that story that you left out at the end, I mean, they were kind of surrounding you, even though in the moment you said you were chasing them, you weren't chasing them at that moment. You were standing there. You may have been chasing them previously, but you were standing there and they were all surrounding you because I watched the whole thing unfold.
Yes, you did.
So you weren't, it wasn't like you were, you didn't blindside him. I mean, he was looking at you, but so you defended yourself in the sense that these were bigger kids and they were picking on you and you stood up for you and your teammates. And that's ultimately why you didn't get in trouble because, that is okay. Again, it's not, if you don't know Riker, that's not in his character. And that's also part of why you didn't get in trouble because I know that's not in your character. Not that you're perfect, but you're not a fighter like in that sense. And so I was proud of you because you stood up for yourself and defended yourself. And, it was no harm, no foul. You got a couple swings in, he got a swing in. And
yeah, by the end of the fight, by the end of the crowd happened, my glasses were crooked. So my dad thought
I thought he had clocked you, but apparently it was just from the, I got there pretty quick, but just from pulling you out of there. But again, we're not signing you up for Golden Gloves Academy or anything after this edition. Not like you're not Rocky or Mike Tyson, but but you defended yourself. And again, I've told you that since you were little. And so we're telling this story just because it happened, and it was a highlight of the weekend in the sense that it's one of those
pivotal moments.
It's one of those mile marker moments for a young man as he's growing up. And so I told him if he goes to school on Monday now and gets in a fight, he will get in trouble because we're not doing that. But defending yourself, again, it's not like but it was just constant bullying. And I was, again,
I was trying not to say the word bully because it makes me sound like, but.
Well, it just was. I mean,
fair enough.
It was, and I was just watching it. So it happened. So that's our little crazy story from the
weekend. Yeah.
Crazy story from the weekend. And the security guards came in and
yeah,
threatened to take Riker to jail, but
no,
we intervened.
They did not.
No, they didn't. Again, talking to the security guard, it's something that happens pretty regularly out there, just because of. Because it is chaotic and you just have, a lot of 12 to 18-year-old, kids running around out there, and things can happen. So we live, we learn. It's one of those moments, right?
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, because we didn't play well as a team, that was one of the highlights of the weekend.
Dad texted my mom. He said Riker had one hit over the weekend. It was in the fight.
Yeah, which is not great, but. Anyway, that happened. All right, so
yeah. And before we move on, I do want to say props to Amazon Music and Zach Brown Band for getting us through that road trip.
Yeah,
so that carried the road trip for me. So.
All right, there we have it. So that's our synopsis. That's our review recap.
5 stars
from Houston. We're gonna do real quick a little baseball talk from the major leagues. Last episode we talked about the World Baseball Classic that is kicking off as we speak. So by the next episode we'll have a little update on what's happened, who's won, who's lost, that kind of thing, what the results have been. So tonight we're just going to real quick give our World Series picks,
Cy Young,
give our Cy Young picks, our MVP picks, and that way we're all set, ready for the season to start, which will be in just a couple of weeks. So
yeah,
we had a few episodes back. We've made our AL playoff picks. We've made our NL playoff picks. We're not going to recap all of those.
Yeah, too much to count.
But who you picked? You had your 6 teams for the National League, 6 for the American League. Who do you have in the World Series? Let's start with that.
I have I'm not excited about this pick, but it's a real pick. I have the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Seattle Mariners.
The Dodgers and the Mariners, okay. And who do you have winning the World Series and how many games? Just as a...
I think we do L.A. Game 5.
Game 5? So 5 games, so it's a pretty quick series.
I think it's pretty quick. I think Seattle can put up somewhat of a fight, though.
Yeah, well.
It's like the dog trying to fight before he eventually gets put down.
All right, so you have the Dodgers beating the Mariners in 5, okay? I'm going to go different. I was leaning Mariners, too, even though when we did our AL West picks, I said I actually picked them as a wild card because I have the Rangers winning the division, and I felt like they would take a step back. But since that episode, they signed Brendan Donovan, which I feel like is going to...
That changed his whole, they're a flash in the pan really quickly.
Because I think him at the top of that order just changes it so much with that lineup. But since you picked the Mariners, I will not pick the Mariners, and I am definitely not picking the Dodgers, even though that makes by far the most sense, but I will not pick them. So I'm going to go with I had a wild card team in the National League because I don't even have them winning the division, but I'm going to go Phillies. I think I had the Braves winning the division, but I think when the Phillies get in there, they'll have what it takes to win those. I thought they could beat the Dodgers last year. I'm going to give them one more shot and say the Phillies win the National League get to the World Series, and I'm gonna go. This was tough with me again. I was leaning Mariners, but I'm gonna say the Blue Jays get back, which is not easy. I'm gonna believe in Dylan Cease being there. Obviously,
Vladdy.
losing Bo Bichette hurts. Yeah, but Vladdy gonna have a great year. So we'll see. But I'm gonna say Blue Jays, Phillies, which is a rematch from '93. That happened. That World Series is odd World Series, but I'm going to say that, and I'm going to say, just like in '93, I'm going to say the Blue Jays win, which is crazy. It's just not easy to have your heart ripped out of your chest like what happened to them last year in the World
And then
Series.
their heart ripped out of it.
But to bounce back, because usually my fear is they could take a step back, but I think they've got enough talent there where they won't. So I'm going to say the Blue Jays in 6 beat the Phillies, and they win the World Series.
Yeah, I would feel bad for the Blue Jays if that did happen and they lost again.
Well, they can just talk to the early '90s Braves to be the most recent one of somebody that kept getting there, and losing.
It's like the Bills.
The Bills, yeah. So we'll see. That's our World Series picks. Now we'll do MVP picks. Who do you got? Actually, do Cy Young. Let's do Cy Young first. All right. So who you have in the National League?
National League, I have DeGrom.
That's the American League.
Oh, sorry. I have Paul Skeens.
There you go. Paul
Can't get my
Skeens.
leagues right.
Paul Skeens in the National League. And you have, as you said, Jacob DeGrom in the American League. I'm also going to go Paul Skeens. I don't like us picking the same things, but I just can't pick anybody besides Paul Skeens. There's Yamamoto. There's some other names, Chris Sale, but it just hard for me to believe it's not Paul Skeens. And I did, as a sleeper, pick the Pirates to come in as a wild card. So if that's going to happen, he's going to have to be Cy Young. So I got Paul Skeens. And in the American League, I'm going to go kind of an odd name. We had mentioned him. We learned about him when we were doing our baseball cards several episodes ago, but he was a reliever. He's now been pushed into a starter role. He's been stretched out. So, and what he did toward the end of last year, kind of another sleeper pick. I'm going to go Garrett Crochet from the Red Sox as my American League Cy Young winner, and Paul Skeens in the National League. All right.
All right, and
then MVP. Who's your NL and AL MVPs?
For AL, I have
Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah, Witt Jr. That's correct. I do have Bobby Witt Jr. in my.
We talked about this beforehand because I was trying not to pick the same because I was again going to lean toward Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah,
but you wanted to pick him,
because he didn't want to make it look like he convinced me, which does happen actually quite a bit.
Yeah.
But,
so you had Bobby Witt Jr. Again, I believe in that one because I do pick the Royals to win the division. So I really think he's going to have a great year. Starting right now, I believe one of the highlights we're going to talk about from the World Baseball Classic is just how great Bobby Witt Jr. has been. And really pulling for him this year. So you got him. Who else? And then you had who in the National League?
I had
the most obvious pick
Yeah,
of all
it's
time.
hard not to go Shohei Ohtani.
And that's who you went. So you went Shohei, which again, it's just like picking the Dodgers. It's by far the favorite pick there and hard to go against him. So you went Shohei and you went Bobby Witt Jr. I'm going to go different. And so in the American League, I was leaning Bobby Witt. And then when you said you wanted him, and then I was going to go Vladdy. But at the last second, I'm gonna go again. I feel like I'm contradicting myself with the Mariners, but I'm gonna go with Julio Rodriguez. Even though I felt like when I say they're gonna take a step back, I really feel like Cal Raleigh. Even though I love the guy, I just don't think he can have the same kind of year as he had last year. He's another favorite to pick the American League, but between Cal and then now with Brendan Donovan leading off, and you're gonna smack Julio Rodriguez right in the middle of there. I just think he's going to have a great year. So I'm going to go Julio Rodriguez wins the AL MVP, even though the Rangers win the division. And then I'm going to go in the National League, someone that I think, again, they're my pick to win or to get to the World Series. The Phillies, I'm going to go Bryce Harper. There's so much heat with him this offseason. The GM basically called him out and implied, it's either going to go really well or the whole Philly thing is going to implode this year because there's a little bit of friction there, a little drama. But I'm going to say that they pull it together for this 1 year anyway, and Bryce Harper turns back the clock a little bit, has an unbelievable year to try to prove that he's still one of the best players in the league, and he's going to do that this year and win the NL MVP. So Bryce Harper's my NL MVP, and Julio Rodriguez my AL MVP. There you go.
All right.
Surely, out of all these picks, we're going to get something right.
Will be right.
And it'll probably be any of the Dodgers picks. So you probably did all right
I was
there.
probably right about Shohei.
And the Dodgers probably winning the series. But winning 3 in a row hasn't happened in a long time. It's really hard. I mean, just as great as they are, as talented as they are, it's just unbelievably difficult to do that. But we'll see.
I feel like it's going to get to the point where, like, after the Dodgers win again, the Nationals are going to get bored and they're just going to walk back to the dugout. There's going to be, like, it's just
no excitement.
Yeah, it's just like, they win again.
It won't be that way. It'll still be excitement, but hopefully it doesn't happen. So there you have it. We've made our picks. Now we can sit back and watch and enjoy the season, watch the World Baseball Classic. And, again, we'll start to have some updates on that next episode and start, tracking how our picks are doing in the regular season. Okay. Now we're going to pick up on our devotion. We started last week working our way through the books of 1 Samuel and 2 Samuel, starting in 1 Samuel. And last week, really quickly, we're trying to not go too deep and too in-depth on this to not drag it out forever. But so we covered verses or chapters 1 through 7 last week, covered those. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you've been reading along with us in these chapters. And then, so today, this episode, we're going to kind of cover chapters 8 through 15 and do the same thing like we did last episode, where we're just going to jump around, read some verses out of each chapter, kind of highlight a few things, and give a quick summary of those chapters, okay, as we work our way through the book of 1 Samuel. We talked a little bit about Hannah, a little bit about Eli and his boys, the last one, and Samuel growing up there. And now we're going to start to learn about another key person in the book of 1 Samuel. So let me give a real quick we'll just work our way through here. First Samuel 8. In this chapter, Israel starts to, say that they want a king. They haven't had a king to this point. They've had judges, and then really they haven't had a king like other countries, and now they're kind of looking around and saying other places have kings. We want a king. And so they start asking the prophet Samuel, who's kind of grown up a little bit by now. Samuel was upset by this, but God tells him the people are rejecting God as their true king. And so God warns them that a human king will tax them, draft their sons into war, and take their land. But much like us, sometimes when the Lord is warning us, we have our mind made up. We really are not even listening to the Lord. And so 1 Samuel, I think, what do you have? 1 Samuel 8, 7? Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead and read that verse.
And the Lord told him, "Listen to all that the people are saying to you. It is not you that they have rejected, but they have rejected me as their king."
There you go. All right. So in 1 Samuel 9 and 10, really, let me get my Bible here. 1 Samuel 9 and 10, really, this is when Saul is chosen. God leads Samuel to Saul. He was from the tribe of Benjamin. Saul was tall and impressive looking, looked like a king. Samuel anoints Saul privately as king, and then later Saul is publicly chosen by casting lots. God's spirit comes upon Saul, and he begins his role as king. So I've got 1 Samuel 9:16, and then I think you have 1 Samuel 10:6 and 7, right?
Yes.
All right, so let me read 1 Samuel 9:16. Tomorrow about this time I will send you a man from the land of Benjamin. Anoint him ruler over my people Israel. He will deliver them from the hand of the Philistines. I have looked on my people, for their cry has reached me. All right, and now you can read 1 Samuel 10, 6 and 7.
All right.
You don't have to do that every time.
Sorry. The Spirit of the Lord will come powerfully upon you, and you will prophesy,
Mm-hmm.
and you will prophesy with them, and you will be changed into a different person. Once these signs are fulfilled, do whatever your hand finds to do, for God is with you.
Okay. And then we get into 1 Samuel 11, Saul's first victory as he goes into war. He rescues the city of Jabesh Gilead. So the Ammonites threaten that city, and Saul is filled with God's Spirit, gathers Israel's army, and defeats the enemy. The people celebrate and officially confirm Saul as king. So they are pleased with him in that. I'm going to read 1 Samuel 11 and 6. And it says, when Saul heard their words, the Spirit of God came powerfully upon him, and he burned with anger. The right kind of anger, the righteous anger.
Yeah.
So, all right, and then we get into chapter 12, and we're going to talk about Samuel's farewell speech. Samuel gives a speech reminding Israel that God has always been faithful, and that asking for a king showed a lack of trust in God. But then he also said, if they and their king obey God, things will go well, which they did for a little while. And then if they disobey, there will be consequences, which there were. God sends thunder and rain during harvest as a sign of his power, and the people repent. All of that happens in chapter 12. Do you have a verse in 12, or do I have? You have.
Don't. Maybe I do.
I think you have 12, 14, and 15. If not, I can read it. All right, I'll read it. 1 Samuel 12, 14, and 15. It says, If you fear the Lord, and serve and obey him, and do not rebel against his commands, and if both you and the king who reigns over you follow the Lord your God, good. But if you do not obey the Lord, and if you rebel against his commands, his hand will be against you as it was against your ancestors. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, that's
warning.
like you missed that. It's kind of.
All right, and then we get into 1 Samuel 13, where for the first time Samuel rebukes Saul.
Oh, yeah.
So while waiting for Samuel before a battle, Saul got impatient, and he offered to sacrifice himself, something only priests should do. Samuel arrives and tells Saul that because of his disobedience, his kingdom will not last. God is seeking a man after his own heart. Do you have
Now,
Nothing there? Okay. I'll read 1 Samuel 13:14.
I don't have anything, I don't think, till 15.
Okay. 1 Samuel 13:14 says, "But now your kingdom will not endure. The Lord has sought out a man after his own heart and appointed him ruler of his people, because you have not kept the Lord's command."
Yeah, well,
God values the heart. We talked about this, just summarizing the whole book, but just God values our heart more than
anything.
more than anything, more than our physical appearance, more than the words we say and trying to impress people. He knows our heart more than our sacrifice. We'll talk about that, but he values our heart. Okay.
Yeah.
1 Samuel 14. Now we talk a little bit about Jonathan. Again, we're getting introduced to some of these key characters in this book. 1 Samuel 14. Saul's son Jonathan courageously attacks a Philistine outpost, trusting God to give him victory. God helps Israel win. However, Saul makes a foolish oath that causes trouble for the army. Jonathan unknowingly breaks the oath, but is saved by the people. 1 Samuel 14. If you're there, Riker, go ahead and look up 1 Samuel 14:6.
Okay, yeah, I got that. Okay, yeah, I'm there. Jonathan said to his young armor-bearer, "Come, let's go over to the outpost of those uncircumcised men. Perhaps the Lord will act in our behalf. Nothing can hinder the Lord from saving, whether by many or few."
All right. And then we go to 15 to wrap it up for this one. Saul's final rebellion, where the Lord rejects Saul as king. God commands Saul to completely destroy the Amalekites and everything they own. Saul defeats them, but spares King Agag and keeps the best animals. He claims it was for sacrifice to God. Samuel confronts him and says one of the most famous verses in this section. And we'll read that here in a second. But because of this repeated disobedience, God rejects Saul as king. Samuel mourns because he loved Saul. And so it did break his heart. And Saul's downfall begins. So I think you have, Riker, chapter 15, verse 22 and 23. Yes. All right, go ahead.
Is this the quote you were talking about?
This is the quote I was talking about.
Okay, it says, "But Samuel replied, 'Does the Lord delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as much as in obeying the Lord? To obey is better than a sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams. For rebellion is like the sin of
divination,
and arrogance like the evil of idolatry. Because you have rejected the word of the Lord, he had rejected you as king.'" Man.
All right.
Again, very straightforward message there.
Very straightforward. So I think some big takeaways, and again, I hope that you guys will read these along with us this week, 8 through 15, one a day. But big takeaways I would say would be, don't follow the crowd.
Absolutely.
When we talk about even their decision to want to have a king, it's kind of following the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
God sees your heart. Obey right away. We talk about this a lot, right? And all the way. So do it when you're asked to do something. You do it right away, and you do it fully, not half-heartedly and not halfway. And then you trust God in hard situations, right? I think those are some big takeaways that we can take away from this. And that's why they're called takeaways. But those are some key points from chapters 8 through 15, and read through it, and then we'll pick up next week at chapter 16 through the end of 1 Samuel. We'll read one of the, again, we talked about this. Part of why we're doing this is so that we can learn more about David. David comes into the picture starting in chapter 16.
Yeah.
We're going to get into David and Goliath. All that is coming up. And then as we go on, then that's when you kind of start to learn. I think a lot of people know that part of the story, but just learn more about David and his story. And we'll get into 2 Samuel after that. But we'll pick up there next episode. All right?
Yes. Indeed.
All right, that's it. Talked about Houston.
Yeah. Talked about my little.
Talked about
Mom
your little.
asked me to call it this a kerfuffle.
Your kerfuffle. We gave our picks. Got into 1 Samuel. Hope you guys enjoy the devotion part of it, and just keep watching, keep helping us promote, keep following us on all the socials and doing all that kind of stuff. Like, subscribe, tell your friends about it, and help us grow the podcast. All right, we've got a couple cool things in the works, some cool episodes coming up. So excited about that. Some special guests, just some cool things that are coming. So just keep sticking with us, help us promote it, and help us grow it. Right.
All right.
Pray for us, and we'll get out of here.
Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for this episode, Lord. I just pray that we can be not perfect, but we can. The Bible says we are made in your image. And Lord, I just pray that we would start practicing to live more like you every day, Lord. I just pray that we would have a heart like David, a faithful lion heart. I pray that we would just, again, honor you with everything we say and do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, guys. Love you. We'll see you next time.